Hello, I'm here to demo for you an application called Mintun that we have developed for creating collections on the Cardano blockchain. This application is focused on users that are not necessarily experienced with creating collections, so it aims to be somewhat educational, but also have a very straightforward workflow so that when you create the collection, you kind of learn as you go and can continue to use it to expand your collection or create new collections. We'll start by connecting a wallet. So we support any of the 30 wallets, and for now we'll use Eternal, grant the access. You'll notice here that I already have a few collections that are inside this wallet that I connected. So one thing to note is we don't store anything on an external database. Everything's stored on chain. So when the wallet connected, we grabbed out all the collections that we know about that were stored in that wallet. I'm going to click Create a Collection now. So Create a Collection page starts with the one piece of information that you need to provide, which is the collection name. And I'll put an example here again. It can be anything you want, and then additionally you can add artist, brand, description, not safe for work flags, just descriptive information about the collection. And you can add images and other data about the collection as you go through the flow. So I'll add an image here, this carrot kit. These are basically things that you want to share with a marketplace that might display your collection. So beyond just the NFT, maybe you want to have a banner at the top of the page or a thumbnail that displays to represent your entire collection, that kind of a thing. The third part of the page is the configuration of the minting contract. So we have this first field, NFT type. Static is the common type of NFT that you would see, where it's just like you mint it and the data becomes immutable, and that's the NFT for forever. The other one we have is permissive evolution, where basically you mint it, but the person who mints the collection also has control over the data and can modify it later on. So it does allow for evolution, but permissive is kind of almost a negative in a way because it means you can change anything about it, which may not be ideal. So we want to make some more types that are more or less permissive, but allow for evolution. Then you can do the usual minting, pick a minting window, maybe limit the number of tokens that your collection is going to have. Those are common guarantees you want to make about your collection. Then you can add some royalties. So royalties here are SIP 102. So that means that you can make a min max fee, and you can also have multiple addresses that you want to send royalties to. And it also means that the royalties can be seen by scripts or other smart contracts on chain because it's stored in datum. So there's an example. I just added a royalty of 2% fee. You could add more if you want. And then there's traits, pretty common in collections to have a bunch of traits like background color, things like that. So here you can add those traits. And they'll be, for each NFT you mint in the collection, you'll have to fill out that. And then last is a social, which is just information you want to give to any marketplaces that you want to display that links back to your own content, essentially. Right now it's just limited to 4 basic links. There's not really a hard limitation, but keeps it simpler to not have like unlimited amount of fields here. So once you filled out whatever you wanted to, in our case we only filled out the collection name, you can click Ready to Mint. When you click Ready to Mint, it's going to give you a quick review. So we have the name of the collection. If you filled anything out here, like the description, things would show up under this one. And then how you configured your contract, what images you selected to include, and beneficiaries, traits, etc. When we click Mint, it starts uploading the image to IPFS. Once the banner images are uploaded to IPFS, it prompts you to sign. So you'll see here that we're minting 4 tokens. So there's a SIP 102 token. There's a SIP 68 owner token, which is what you use not only to prove ownership, but also whenever you mint, you always spend that token to give you access to mint. And then there's also the reference token that goes along with that token that holds all the collection data you just filled out. So the description, the images, and social information, all that's stored in a datum and put into the reference token. So then we'll just click sign here before it times out. And like it said, this can take a little bit of time. We just wait till it appears in the very first block that we see it on chain is long enough for us, so it usually doesn't take that long for it to show up, especially on pre-prod, which is where this is happening right now. So once that token shows up there, then you can go and actually manage your collection, which is what we'll do next. So manage collection button here. It's going to load the collection info. This is loading off the token that got minted. So this is, again, no database. We have a brief overview of what's available for minting here. So it's got a 2-month window. This is the policy ID that ended up under, the royalties that you configured, and then how many tokens you've minted out of your max, and how many are ready to mint. So over here, you notice there's a store minting policy, our minting contract, which also does SIP88, by the way, so stores that metadata. The transaction for minting minting that Genesis data, and then also minting NFTs. That the contract gets pretty big, so we advise you to store it on the chain. Pretty much right now, you need to if you want to mint some tokens. A little bit of a drawback to have to spend 22 ADA to mint, so we want to see if we can make that not required at the very least. For now, that's how it's set up. So then we're going to sign that transaction. This will store the smart contract on the chain for us, and then it'll give us enough room to mint up to 10 tokens in a single transaction. More than that, probably, but that's kind of what we put on it. All right, so this is minted now. So that's stored. It should update this thing, but it's not right now, so I'll just refresh, and there you go. Now it says mint drafts, and we can mint any tokens we've drafted, but we have no draft, so let's create some. Creating a draft is mostly just selecting an image. Everything else is technically optional. It'll even auto-generate a name for you, but not necessarily a great one, so I'll just put that name here call this Carrot Kid. I'll see some other fields you can fill out here. So there's the identifier, which is for external system identifier if you want to link something that's outside of the chain to this token with a unique identifier. That's where you can put that and still have a name that's readable by humans in the name field. Description is just a SIP25 description, and tags is just like for more search purposes. You could add some tags to the NFTs, and tags are going to be specific per NFT. So you could have a different set of tags on each NFT in the collection. Traits, on the other hand, you want to have those like the trait be shared across all NFTs. So that's why usually you want to, when you're creating a collection, specify the traits you're going to have in your collection. But if you didn't, you can still declare them here and then fill in a trait for the NFT. So that's the basics of drafting a token. Click Save Draft. It actually uploads the image to IPFS here. So this image is stored in IPFS now. So that's the only part that takes a second. And we can just draft another just so we have a couple in the queue. One more, Cat Kid 102. And after this one's drafted, we can go and mint some drafts. So the minting of the drafts just basically means it's actually going to submit these T-mints to the chain, and now your collection will actually have NFTs in it. So click mint selected here and sign this. Once you sign it, so the way that this works is, say you don't use a private key, you use just an ownership token. You spend that along with to the minting contract, along with the tokens you want to mint, and then it validates that you own that token and mints the NFTs, and it also validates the other contract configuration thing you did. The minting window is the one within the one that you selected, and there's not more than the number of NFTs that you said. The way that tracks that is basically like sequence number, so it's like counting. It's making sure that it always adds up to a number less than the max quantity. All right, so these two have been minted. We can hit refresh here, and now we have two minted NFTs. The one difference you might see from a minted one versus a draft is this: there's a little putty knife on the side there, and that means that it's editable. So here you can see I have two that are minted and one that you can edit here. And we're still working through some of the UI pieces on that, but pretty much that's it right now. So here's a fully functioning idea of creating a collection. We've got lots of ideas around how we can improve it. Of course, being able to mint to not your own wallet, but maybe to mint directly to another wallet, so you can do airdrop type things, and lots of other possible ways to improve it beyond that. So thanks for taking a look, and that's it.